Hey, this is Douglas here from the Inside BlackBerry Developers blog. I'm here with Pete Nofelt from Foursquare at the tail end of a very long and very pleasurable DEVCON 2010 in sunny San Francisco. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I want to talk to you about a lot of things that we've been working on together and figuring out what the things that you're working on that we're really excited about. So, beyond the Foursquare Challenge, which we'll get to, you led a session today at DEVCON 2010. Why don't you tell us about that and how it went?
Yeah, so very quickly, my sessions was called Anatomy of Social Application. So it followed essentially two channels. It was one sort of discussing our experience of developing a BlackBerry application, but also developing it within the context of, what was required for Foursquare and what exists on different clients. But by doing so, we were able to really discuss a lot of things such as, how on the BlackBerry platform we can really integrate with a lot of services that traditionally might not be available on other clients, such as the way you interact with contacts and the way that you're pushing out and, really building a platform around the device itself. And one perfect example is how we just released push notifications for BlackBerry, and what RIM offers is probably of the highest sophistication that's available across a lot of different platforms, because we're able to push down any sort of data and decide how the application deals with it. So we're not tied to this constraint of just pushing down a notification. We can push down a notification, but we can also put down images, and we're really thinking about how we're going to use a service like that in the future.
So you're now technically what we call a super app, essentially, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, like always from the user perspective, we really want to exist as a super app, as something that's really exciting to the user, but we're really happy to satisfy the requirement of the feature levels that are available on the BlackBerry platform. And, initially it wasn't hesitation, but we just had so many things on the roadmap about what we needed to build into the platform, especially for Foursquare and for BlackBerry. And once we actually added push notification, it totally made sense. And me as a BlackBerry user and a BlackBerry developer, I was excited the first day that pushes started coming in, and I didn't have to worry about pulling information. We were improving battery life, their performance was improving overall, and it was just one of those things. We were really excited, and it forced us to think, okay, what else can we add that's BlackBerry's offering that can really add value to the user.
That's really awesome to hear. But so now, as a BlackBerry developer and as a speaker, can you talk to me a bit about what your DevCon experience has been? Just how you feel about the show in and of itself?
Yeah, I mean, it's finally great because I'm on the East Coast in New York, and a lot of people in finance or, media and so on, anyone that's in tech are mostly within, this idea of media and technology. So it's been really great to actually meet other people that are BlackBerry developers and really, sit down and be like, so this is how we deal with, these questions about connection, or how we do drawing, or how we manage stuff with BlackBerry, and we can really just geek out and sort of figure out what's going on and trade information about, best practices, and what's understood, and what, other companies are excited about, as well as what we're excited about. We both just actually talked about what we liked about each other's applications, but then we sat down, and it was great to just talk about the API and what's coming out and what are you going to roll out and what's exciting you.
Well, that's really good to hear, because that's why we're all here, right? To get those connections. For the Foursquare Challenge, what were your thoughts on that? Would you think it was successful? Is that something that you look to do, or?
Yeah, so when it first came up as this idea where RIM wanted to engage with us, this big company wanted to engage with us about building a badge, one, we were really excited, and two, we were really excited about the level that RIM took it to. So it wasn't just, give us a badge so we can tick off this social media thing. It's look, we want to give people things in exchange for earning it and really coming here and, one, supporting your application and also supporting our platform.
I'm glad that we were able to kind of work together with an app that is really exciting, to do something exciting, to get developers more engaged in the show, into DevCon.
So from very high level, Foursquare is essentially an application that allows you to share your location with your friends, right? And it's beyond this idea of, broadcasting it to everyone, even though we offer the services to send it out to Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. It's, really adding value where you can say, hey, I'm at this bar, and your friends that are also on Foursquare are able to be like, hey, we should totally meet up, and we're sort of building serendipity. But on top of that, we offer these ideas of we're building a game on your social activity. So when you check in, you earn badges, or if you check in at a venue enough times, you become mayorship, or you get a mayorship of that venue. And in exchange, there's been a lot of really great venues and businesses that have done things like, offering like every time you come in, you get a free drink, or you get a free appetizer and all that stuff. And for a restaurant, for a business, like that's a great benefit to them because you're talking about it. But also it's a great benefit for the people that are really patrons of your service.
Yeah, so and just as a regular user, or as you said, as a patron, being kind of rewarded for your commitment and having awareness of like how committed you are. So living in Ottawa previously, I became the mayor of my local brunch place, and they actually put up a photo of me saying I'm the mayor.
Really?
So yeah, it's just one of those little things where it's kind of like that metadata to your life and kind of understanding the way in which you interact.
Yeah, and it's sort of like it was a way for Foursquare offered something so you could prove to them that you really are committed to this business, and it was a way for that business to reward someone that they knew was really committed. And it was just something that, the whole idea, besides just finding out what your friends are and the whole game, is changing this conversation between people and businesses to really being people and the people that support these local businesses, and tightening that feedback loop and making sure that everyone gets rewarded along the way. Okay,
so then let's talk about the future of Foursquare then. I know we had talked earlier in the week about the BBM announcement, the social platform BBM. One of the big, I'll use Foursquare a lot in addition to social feeds to kind of broadcast out my presence to my social graph. How do you feel about that, and where do you think you're going to go in the future with Foursquare?
So from the beginning, as a BlackBerry developer for Foursquare, I was always like, when am I going to tie into BBM? Just because I was excited about what was offered. And BBM is sort of like the super communication of being able to communicate, not just this idea of texting and sending, hey, what are you up to? But you can send your location, you can send photos, you can send all this other information, and it's fast and it works, and it's guaranteed to be sent. And it was one of those things where, we want to reward people regardless of whether they're a Foursquare user or not, and be able to have them communicate information about themselves like, hey, we check in at this bar, and for whatever reason, let's say you don't have the Foursquare app installed, but we're friends via BBM, you're able to get that notification. And one, it adds value as a Foursquare user, but also it adds value as a BlackBerry user because you're getting information about other people's social activity that matters to you.
Yeah, just another form, like BlackBerry's about communication, so it's just another way of getting that story, that information about what your friends are doing.
And I think RIM's approach is really building out that interaction in a transparent way. And so it's like, if you want to communicate this via Foursquare, that's great, but if you want to communicate it via BBM because that's something someone's more comfortable with, even better. And vice versa, someone could maybe eventually one day translate their BBMs to Foursquare or whatever else.
Well, that's exciting stuff. So can I get a commitment from you right now that we'll see you at DEVCON 2011?
Yes, I think I'm looking forward to it, and probably the hardest thing is going to be figuring out what my next talk will be, because today's talk was surprisingly very good. I was really excited that it was pretty technical, but it ended in a lot of questions, which I always think is a good thing. And ultimately, we traded a lot of people that participate. We traded a lot of information about what we're excited about within the BlackBerry platform, and how we can all help each other to really build out, these frameworks in building sort of these super applications.
All right. Well, so on that note, go to BlackBerry App World right now. Download the new version of Foursquare. It is now a BlackBerry super app. And thanks.